for this part, if we want to talk easy, it's just like, well, if let's suppose we got AR, we have AR, the other part gonna have AP, right? So let's suppose the AR you think is more like we cannot get the money from them. What you gonna do? You set up allowance for doubtful account to adjust for that, to make sure they got into the net realizable value, just like that. But what if the AR impaired? You need to set up allowance for impairment again, like that, in terms of the size of AR. But now let's take a look at if you have turned the head into the persons who own the money, you got liabilities. You think liabilities the value can drop because of what? Let's say you issue bond. When you issue bond, you have coupon rate compared to market rate. Once you issue the bonds, coupon rate is 5%, market rate is 6%. You issue bond with discount or premium? Discount, right? 2 years later, coupon rate is still the same 5%, but the market rate changed, not going to be 6%. It's turned to be 9%. What happened to the bond value? Even drop. Alright, so its liability can drop as well if you mark to market like that. Alright, so when you think about the term receivable and the term payable like this, when we talk about if the firm who is your receivable got some distress or don't have capability to repay to you, move your hand back to like you have receivable and that person cannot pay you back to you. Actually, you don't need to wait until they get financial distress. You can set up allowance, you can set up impairment, all right? And then what if impairment is not enough? That firm come to say to you like, well, I'm gonna bankrupt. I cannot pay to you like I used to do. Now it's time to restructure all the receivable. All right, you as the owner of that receivables, the company who got the receivable, you're gonna have gain or loss in this case. If the company who are in financial distress come to see you like, I cannot pay, you're gonna have loss, which is one-time loss from restructuring. Looking at the other side, that guy gonna have gain or loss? Gain from the debt restructuring. This is the big picture when the firm got financial distress and have to do some negotiation. One gonna have loss, one gonna have gain. Alright? Well, we have some more conditions. For example, I cannot pay to you, but I have a land. You can take my land to pay back the loan. Is that possible? Right? Or I don't have a land, but I have inventory. You can take my inventory to repack back to you. You say, yes, I take all your inventory, but it's not enough. I say to you like, well, can we redo like this? You take my inventory, you take my land. The rest of the liability, please let it free. Or you take my land, take my inventory, but the rest of liability, we extend the term from 2 years to 5 years. This means you restructure the term. Got it? So that's why when we got trouble debt restructuring, you can have several factors coming in. But one thing you need to keep in mind, one gonna get lost and one can have a gain. I would say can have, but the other one gonna have loss for sure. Okay, this is the concept. Of course, the value of the asset drop When the value of the asset drop, loss pop up. On the other side, the value of liability drop, can swap with asset or can create the gain. Okay, if you get the same point of view like this, now we can go down to the example. All right, I'm going to start with the one in the slide. Then we start with first when we got loan impairment. All right, let's say you are the banker. You give the loan to the company. When you give the loan to company, you debit loan to the company, credit cash. You got the asset called loan too, right? You got the right to claim on the loan to get cash. You got the right to claim cash from that particular company. Well, you say, well, there's loan. You expect to get money, not 100%. You set up allowance for doubtful account already. Let's say the loan amount is 100. You set up allowance for 20. You expect to get money only 80. All right? But all of a sudden, they got some economic crisis. Got indicator like this loan cannot pay you back at 80. They reduce amount to 30. So it means what? You got impairment of loan from 80 to 30. You have loss and impairment for 50. Okay? That's like the first step when the loan impairment. Now it's like what? The book value of the loan dropped from 100 to 80 and from 80 to 30. All right? This is what you expect to get money from them. And then that guy come to see you like, well, Ajahn, I don't think I can pay you for about the 30. I think I can pay you for like 10. But I need to negotiate with you. The second step gonna come in is time to restructure the loan from 30 to 10. So it means what? Your company lost for about 20, isn't it? The accounting people need to report just like that. First, report allowance for doubtful account, recognize expense at 20, mark the loan down from 100 to 80. Second, record impairment of loan from 80 to 30, record impairment as an expense for 50. And the third, record loss from restructuring from 30 to 10 at 20. I want to give you the big picture like this first so you see how the loss report across the way. What if I separate the event in different years? All right, if I separate like this, year one, you got 100. At the end of year one, you think you're gonna have allowance. This is gonna be allowance for 20. This means what? This turned to be expense for about by debit expense, credit allowance for doubtful account. Isn't that right? You set up allowance for doubtful account. This is for the first year, end of year one. And still carry on like this until let's say year 3. Year 3, they got indicated like the value drop to 30. It means that you got impairment loss for about 50, but recognized in year 3. This is recognized in year 1. This is in year 3. So it's like you tear everything into 2 pieces with span of time. All right. Well, this guy who got 30 here negotiate with you in year 4. Like, I'm gonna pay for you for about 10. So you're gonna have loss from restructuring about 20 in year 4. So it means what? You just like you allocate expense in 3 periods. Year 1, year 3, and year 4. You guys got these pictures? But you still show the asset just like what you want to see. Alright? Try again. Receivable alone 100. 1 year later or half year later whatsoever. At the end of year 1, you think I cannot get the money 100. I think I'm gonna get only 80. That's the first step. You said allowance for doubtful account. Alright? Now move right here to year 3. They got indicator like, well, we're not gonna get the money at 80. I think we should get only 30. But the value is dropped. You got impairment loss for about 50. Just like that. And the guy say to you, I don't think I'm gonna make 30. I make only 10. Negotiate with you. That's the big picture for now. First. Okay? Now I'm gonna go to the real examples from here. In the next slide, it's going to use what you learned from Ajahn Siri on effective interest rate. Alright? Gathering yourself who don't have accounting background. Okay? Let's say this company called American Offline or Online. In year 1, American Online issued 0 coupon bonds to the bank. Alright, to substandard chartered bank. The 0 coupon bond, the par value is 100. Alright, it's a bond going to be expired or mature in the next 3 years. Okay, so from the next 3 years here, this is the day when they still mature, 100. Right, discount it back to the present at 10% interest rate. Use the present value, discount it back. This is the present value of 100. Got it? 100,000. Alright, including interest. So when you do amortizations of this 0 coupon bond, this is the carrying value on the day you issue. Right? Basically, what you're going to do then, you debit cash at this amount, credit notes payable at this amount. The difference go to discount on note payable. The debit credit thing is on the next slide. Okay, I do it for you because I know you cannot keep up with. That's why I just explain this one first to make sure you understand the big picture when you have liabilities. Said with 10% interest, right? 10% of this turn to be interest in year 1. All right. So this is going to be discount amortization because it's 0 coupon, no interest paid. All right, 0 coupon bond. Coupon rate is 0. That's why you don't have to pay interest at all. But in the future, you got to pay with 100 later. Okay. First, then the values of the bonds go up to 82, like this, because discount drop, the value of bond go up. 10% of this book value turn to be interest for next year and move on. So the total interest expense is 22,868, like that. We're going to use this table, the number from this table, and record in the next slide. Okay, American Offline, which is the debtors, get cash, each note payable. Different turn to be discount, move is right here. Okay, debits on this side. Once they pay interest, actually cash didn't go out, discount dropped and recognize interest. Look at the American substandard chartered bank. They give you the money. This is what they get. They give you cash, get AR about this. Recognize interest revenue from that table, debit, note receivable, and credit to interest revenue. Got it? Very simple, debit, credit. Just pick the number and put it in. Okay? Move to the next one. When we talk about loan impairment, we have a diagram like this. If we got indicators like the loan is going to be impaired, okay, you need to compare two things. CA versus RA, I would say. CA is carrying amount, RA is recoverable amount. Carrying amount represents the book value of that particular AR. Alright, now it's time to think about if carrying amount is greater or lower than the recoverable amount. What is recoverable amount is all about? Look at the gray box. Based on accounting standard number 36, you need to choose between the maximum value of value in use or net realizable value. What that's supposed to mean here? What is net realizable value? You learn from inventory. Can you recall that? LCNRV. Lower of cost or net realizable value when you want to measure the inventory after you buy the inventory in. Let's suppose, go back to inventory to make it simple. The cost of inventory is 100. Alright, but if you want to sell that inventory, let's say I make a shirt, my inventory is shirt, my cost of shirt is 100. If I want to sell this shirt, the shirt price is 120. This is a market value, not net realizable value. But to make the shirt to be sold at that price, I need to hire salesman. I need to pay for transportation, let's say cost me 30 baht. So it means NRV is equal to 120 minus 30. So basically NRV is market value minus cost to sales. That's the definitions of NRV. Net realizable value equal to market value subtracted by cost to sales. Some people get confused about market value and net realizable value. In US, we use LC versus market value, lower or cost of market. But for international accounting standard, we're not going to use market value. We use LCNRV, lower or cost or net realizable value. Which one is lower? That for inventory part. The concept of NRV now apply in this one as well. So it means what? To find out recoverable amount or RA in this case, you need to compare between value in use and NRV. You know NRV. Now I'm going to explain value in use. Let's suppose I have a machine. Alright? And I want to test for impairment for the machine. For NRV of machine, basically easy to calculate. You use the market value of machine minus cost to sell. Be done. Got it? But now the problem is value in use. What is value in use stand for? Here. I write it down here. Discounted cash flow. What that's supposed to mean? You need to estimate expected cash flow generated from the machine in the futures. Like if I want to use this machine for like another 10 years, how much cash this machine gonna build back for me? Just like I build the shirt whatsoever to get the money in and discount it back at the market rate, market interest rate. Alright? If you understand the concept of both terms, NRV and VIU, I've made it short. VIU is value in use. In this scenario for RA, if NRV is 10 baht, VIU is 8 baht, which one is greater? NRV. You're going to pick the maximum one to be RA, recoverable amount, which is 10. And then you compare to carrying amount, which is the book value at the moment. Let's suppose the book value of machine is 8 or 9. 10 versus 9, 10 is greater. So in this case, RA greater than CA. Impair or not? No. Because recovery amount still more than carrying amount. On the other hand, compare max. Max between VAU and NRV. You got 10. But carrying amount is 15. Now is impaired by 5. That's concept of impairment carry on with every asset. Alright? So if you think this makes sense, now apply to our loan a couple minutes ago. What that's supposed to mean? You need to find out carrying amount of the loan compared with RA of that loan. This means what? You need to recalculate the new value of the loan based on the new market rate, right? To get the right value of the loan. Okay? That's the concept for now. So we're going to get back to our example right here and explain to you this one already. Don't look at this one just yet. Otherwise it's going to kill you. Go for the top one. The top pile. Okay? Let's say at the end of year 1, do you remember the amount of the money that they're going to get at the first place for this bank? 100,000. Because American Offline issue bond at 100,000 par value. Remember that? So it means what? At the end of year 3, the bank is going to get money from AOL at 100,000. Is that correct? That's the amount that they're going to get the money back. But in this situation, 1 year later, the bank think, well, I don't think I'm going to get the money at 100,000. I will get at only 80,000. So what that's supposed to mean? They got some indication like, I'm not going to get money 100%, isn't it? So now it's time to think about, well, if you expect to get 80,000 at the end of year 3, what will be the value of that loan at the end of year 1? Right? Because now it's like you move closer. So you need to do discount 80,000 divided by 1.1 and times 2, right? Exponent 2. This is the present value at the end, isn't it, of year 2. This is at the end of year 1. Discount it back to the present. So the difference here we call impairment loss. You compare different value. The way we record it just like this. At the end of year 1, the values change by the debit and credit allowance for bad debt. Alright? For AOL, no need to record. When they pay interest, they record with the same number. If you don't understand debit credit thing, don't worry. I just want to show you the effect of impairment loss, just like that. You're going to see it better in the next couple slides. Hold on, I think I showed it. Alright, still. Okay, like that. So if the impairment loss is with this amount, look at this line first for the debtors. Based on the contract, don't look at this side, look at this side. Based on the contract, the company still have to pay at par value 100. Alright, no need to change. What about this number coming from? From the previous table. You remember this?